You've gone through the interview and reference checks, and finally you got the executive assistant job. Congrats. But now we're going to turn the tables a little bit, and on your first day, you're going to give your executive an introductory interview. So that way you set yourself up for success from day one. If you're interested in excelling at your job and showing your executive how valuable you are, stick around and I'll share a checklist of key things to ask your executive so you can shine as their EA. Welcome to the Executive Assistant Handbook. My name is Ella, and I share with you tips and tricks on how to be an indispensable EA. So if you're an EA who wants to be on top of her game, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on any new tips that I share. So it's your first day on the job, or you've been assigned to a new executive. The first thing you need to do is you need that one-on-one time with them. And your goal is to learn about your executive. You want to go through a checklist of items that are the basics, things that come up all the time that you don't want to have to go to your executive each time it comes up. So by having this checklist of items created and answered on day one, you have a lot of time, you save a lot of time having to ask when it comes up. But it also shows your executive that you know what you're doing. And the great thing about this is you hold on to that checklist and you keep building on it. So as new things come up throughout your work with your executive, you can continuously add and make that list longer. I do this each time I report to someone new. I have my one-on-one with them and I ask them a lot of business as well as personal questions. But I also give them the option not to answer if there's something that they don't feel comfortable with, and that's completely fine. So for example, I preface the meeting by saying, if it's all right, I have a bunch of questions I'd like to ask you to get me started. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask me as we go through our meeting. This is great because it puts your executive at ease, as well as they learn something about you too, which starts building that relationship between the two of you, which is a solid start. So moving on, let's go through a few of the things that I have on my introductory checklist with my executive. So right off the bat, name, middle name if applicable, and their last name, and make sure you get spelling and pronunciation correct. You're going to get people that come up to you, especially if your executive's name isn't that easy to pronounce phonetically. They'll ask, hey, is the spelling correct? How do you pronounce it? And it's better to be prepared on being able to answer those questions. It might also come up in times when, let's say, there's a press release or a media release that needs to go out with your executive's name, and people will send it to you for a final glance and say, hey, can you confirm that the information looks correct? So again, you want to have that information ready, even for yourself. This is the person you're reporting to, so you need to know something as basic as, name, last name, and pronunciation. The next thing that you want to ask them is their home address. Now, some executives might not feel comfortable giving this to you, but others will. And this is a huge thing if they do say yes. It's important because in case they ask you to send them something, or let's say you have a package that you have to send them, having their home address, it makes life easier because you just have that access for them. Also, if let's say they have to be somewhere from, let's say they're going to a meeting that's off-site, but they're not going to go to the office first. They're just going to go directly from their home. So by you having their home address, you can already gauge how long it's going to take them if you Google map it. And you can say, okay, from their house to this location, it's going to take them this long. So you can already add into their calendar buffer time for travel, as opposed to making a wrong assumption of, okay, they're going to go from their house to their work and then from work to the location. So again, just small little wins right there. That'll save you a huge amount of time. Next is if they do have a spouse, what their name is and their birthday. So again, same thing. You put it in their calendar and you have their information already. So that way you can look ahead and say, oh, hey, your spouse's birthday's coming up. Do you want to send them flowers or do you want to get them a gift? Should I book dinner somewhere for you guys? Again, you're thinking ahead and you're on the ball because this, as bad as it sounds, it might slip because their mind is everywhere else. If they're comfortable, they'll also give you their spouse's cell phone number and email address because there might be some times where you need to communicate with them on the side and it's just easier. But again, they might say, you know what, no, I don't want you to have that information. And again, don't take offense. There's some executives that just have more, they want more privacy in their personal life. On that, you can also ask if they have kids. So what are their kids' names and their birthdays? So same thing, it goes right into the calendar. Next one, allergies and dietary restrictions. This will come up a lot because your executive will most likely be invited to a lot of events, or there's going to be lunch and learns or something where a meal is served. And the first thing that everybody asks is allergies and dietary restrictions. So if you have this information right off the bat, again, you're setting yourself up for success, and you can enter that email right away. Next one on the list is credit card information. Again, this one's a great one to have because if there's something that your boss wants you to buy on their behalf, having their credit card information on file already, you don't even have to go back and forth. You just buy it and it's done. The next few are very basic and simple, but I think they are important to know. Favorite color, favorite food, favorite drink, and favorite snack. These are important to have because, again, things will come up, and if you know your boss's favorite color, well, hey, I know between, X amount of choices, get him the blue one, for example. Favorite food, drink, snack, there's gonna be times where your boss is gonna be, hung up in a meeting, and he's gonna be hungry over lunch because the meeting went over lunch and there was no food served, unfortunately. So, your boss is human. They need a bio break, they need food. So if you can get ahead and buy them, let's say a sandwich or a wrap or something, and you know already what they like ahead of time, it'll, again, save you time. It'll win you huge brownie points, and your boss comes back and is completely grateful because you thought about them, and they have food in front of them so they can eat. Now, this is just the top of the ice, or the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more questions that you can ask. All of these and more are important because they give you huge insight into your executive, and it allows you to make decisions that come your way because you already know the information about your executive. So you're basically setting yourself up for success, which is what you want. So if you're interested in having your own executive assistant handbook interview checklist, and it basically builds on everything that I've provided you already, check out my link below. And you can purchase off of Etsy, and it'll give you a full list of what I have. And you can also build off of that list. So again, anytime you learn more information about your boss, just continuously add to this checklist. So I wish you luck with your executive interview. Let me know how it worked out for you in the comments below. Until next time, work smarter, not harder, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.